And live at the first green extra holes in match play, this is Monroe for a par, which he gets. So Michael Schoolcraft now, the local prodigy, home course, Cherry Hills, big crowd watching him today, has a par putt to extend the match. It's the 112th U.S. Amateur round of 64 match play. Dottie Pepper's down there.
Well, Mark, by design, both of these players went for the green. Off the tee, Schoolcraft in the left bunker. Monroe, hole high right. Not great short game showing there, and that will end this match for the local favorite.
Tough way to lose. 19 holes. So Monroe advances. And earlier we've had some tremendous highlights already in match play. Oldest player in the field at the age of 55, Doug Hansel. This for a par at 16, which he makes. Andrew Bigadike is out. Tremendous performance there. Also at the 16th, Justin Spray. This for par. He is 2 down to extend his match. Not to be so. Walker Cupper and All-American at Stanford, Patrick Rogers advances. At the 20th hole, first match to go, extra holes. This Michael Kim for a par. That fails to drop, so Bobby Leopold, who made it to the round of 16 last year, he advances to the round of 32. NCAA champion Thomas Pieters pit against the favorite Jordan Spieth. This for a birdie at 9 to go 2 up from about 35 feet. Barely sneaks in the right-hand corner. And Jordan Spieth now through 11 holes, still 2 down. And the round of 64 in match play is underway at Cherry Hills. Golf Channel and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today, it's live coverage of the 112th United States Amateur Championship. And you are looking at storied Cherry Hills Country Club, site of so many of golf's biggest events over the years, on a gorgeous August afternoon. The round of 64 in match play has begun after 36 holes of stroke play qualifying, and we have some very intriguing opening round matches, particularly in the upper bracket that is absolutely loaded with amateur golf's best. And what a tough road it is going to be through this upper bracket. Bobby Wyatt, he was the medalist. In fact, tied the lowest medalist score ever in qualifying here at the U.S. Amateur. His match is all square through 1 against Taylor Hancock. There's the Bobby Leopold match that went 20 holes, first hole to go, extra holes. He defeats Michael Kim. Big victory there for Homa, 5-4. Down in the lower part of that bracket, there is the Rogers Spray match. Rogers, of course, the All-American at Stanford, the Walker Cupper. He wins 3-2. A couple of Canadians, Hughes and Choi there. Hughes, back-to-back Canadian Amateur Championships. Choi takes him out. And some really tight matches coming up that home stretch there. There is this Monroe Schoolcraft match, which we just watched, ended at the 19th hole. Williams and Williamson. We'll keep our eye on that one this afternoon. And there is the match of Pan, who is the number 3 seed from Taiwan. He is 1 up. Robert Lamb, product of University of Tennessee. And this is Brad Valois now at the 18th, 4 par, has to make it to extend the match.
We're seeing putting right-handed. Actually, he strikes the ball left-handed, but that is not going to get it done.
So Justin Shin advances to the round of 32. Back at 17 now, Carlos Ortiz in his match against Adam Stevenson. This is to win the hole, square the match. It's a beauty. So that match will head to the 18th, all square. And we go over to the 13th hole. And this is Thomas Pieters in his match with Jordan Spieth, and Roger Maltby's down there.
and currently enjoying a 2-up advantage. Iron off the tee here, 429-yard par 4. Fairway bunker down the right-hand side, 264 yards. Just playing a low stinger kind of shot, just trying to get the ball in play, which he will do. Beautiful position.
Yeah, interesting par 4, Roger. Really does give the players some options off the tee. They can hit a driver if they want, try to carry that bunker you were talking about.
Here's the format for the 112th U.S. Amateur Championship. You can see there were 97 sites nationwide for qualifying. 312 players made it here to Cherry Hills. Top 64 after stroke play advanced to match play. 6 rounds of single elimination match play, 36-hole championship final on Sunday. It is a lot of golf. Now, back at the 13th, Jordan Spieth.
Well, has the big club out, heading back to his bag. But 295, getting a new ball, I guess. The fairway bunker down the right, 295 to carry. And at altitude here, we're at 5,300 feet or so. That's going to play, what, about 265 or so to carry.
I would think so, Raj. I think in talking to some of the players earlier in the week, they were figuring, about 10% or so that the ball was going to go farther than it normally does. This is certainly the aggressive play, but he needs to make it at this point in the match, being 2 down.
It's a beauty.
And that will leave a very short club into the green, so well done off the tee.
And hi, everyone. Mark Rolfing, along with Steve Burkowski and Gary Koch. And Gary, let me ask you first. This is the most prestigious title in men's amateur golf. One of the favorite USGA venues, Cherry Hills. That combination adds up to make this a very tough championship to win.
Well, it certainly does, Mark. The golf course, as you mentioned earlier, has hosted a number of major championship-type events, so it's a good test of golf. It certainly, I think, will be an interesting test for match play. There are a lot of risk-reward kind of holes. We just saw right there at 13, 2 very different strategies off the tee. And you talk about being tough. Yeah, first of all, you got to make the match play, 64 players. Then you've got to go from there and win 6 matches in a very short period of time. It's a lot of golf. And in match play, we've seen it many times. Anything can happen. You can play very well, and you can go home. Or you can play poorly, get lucky, and move on to the next round. So it is a very difficult test. It is one that certainly every amateur wants to win. This is the big one.
And the anything that you can happen is happening right now to Jordan Spieth, Steve. So he may be the favorite on paper, but he is in for a tough one here with Peters.
Well, he certainly is, Mark. I don't know if Jordan Spieth could have got a more difficult draw in the first round playing the reigning NCAA champion Thomas Peters from Illinois. But Jordan Spieth has always been successful at every level. Just Tiger Woods and himself are the only two-time junior amateur champions. Went to Texas, won 3 times, led him to a national championship. Big 12 Player of the Year, Big 12 Freshman of the Year. A lot is expected of Jordan Spieth. While he's down, this one isn't done yet.
Did hit a really good tee shot there at 13. And that is a look at the 18th green. This is the Stevenson-Ortiz match as we pan back down. And there is the fairway at 18. Dottie Pepper has joined this match.
Adam Stevenson with the more difficult of the second shots here at the 18th, a much more steep, liable hook, very hard. Ortiz found a flatter lie, will play second.
And this shot uphill, some 33 feet from the fairway up to the green, and Dottie with a hole location over on the far right-hand side of the green. I mean, this really playing first. I mean, Stevenson needs to be thinking, put this ball in the middle of the green, put the pressure on your opponent. Don't make a mistake. Don't short side yourself.
That's exactly right. And to add to the difficulty, they can see absolutely none of this putting surface. Very still, 190 to the hole, 178 front.
Sound and Finn, is he going to carry?
Will not. Ball does look like it released out of its pitch mark, however.
And now the second shot for Peters in his match against Jordan Spieth. Roger?
And 159 left to the hole. Hole cut on the green, just 9 paces. Very little wind moving at all. It's a very still day here.
cut just on a little shelf. Anything a little right of the hole funnels away. Anything a little left of the hole funnels away. But if you hit it right at the flag like that,
it funnels back to it.
There you go. What a shot.
Up at 18 now in the match against Stevenson. This is the second shot for Ortiz. A little bit flatter lie. Again, the match is all square.
He's yelling for it to hook. Will he get a bounce? Well, it's in the intermediate cut of rough, but the long rough behind it could be an issue.
Back at 13 now, Roger Maltby. This situation just changed dramatically with that shot by Peters.
Well, it has. Spieth obviously going with driver off the tee mark to be aggressive here. But with that shot of Peters now he's got something to worry about. He has 110 yards left of the hole. Should play like a 100-yard shot at sea level, just a little bit of a sand iron.
Roger, it seems to me like 2 down is kind of a benchmark. Boy, you go from 2 down to 3 down. That seems like a huge difference in match play.
I agree. Then it seems like you have a mountain to climb. 2 down can change relatively fast, but 3 down, it's a different matter.
Something affecting him there, Roger? A noise or anything like that? Or just...
No, there was nothing like that. Looked like he kind of smiled at his caddy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a little gas or something like it.
Indigestion, maybe? This being 2 down after 12 could give you indigestion.
This needs to get down, it looks. Okay.
Oh, it did.
That just kind of stuck into the green.
Beautiful. What an answer. Clutch shot there.
Up ahead at 14, Michael Hebert has 2 putts to win his match. Tatsanati has absolutely dominated this match all the way. Doesn't need 2, just 1, and so that is a 6-4 victory. Michael Hebert goes on to the second round. Terrific performance there. Now up at the 17th, Gavin Green with 2 putts to win his match against Derek Ernst. So a good performance there by Gavin Green. He wins 3-1. And now back to the intriguing one at 18.
Well, Gary, this is kind of a deja vu all over again sort of feeling.
Yeah. Birdie Kim holing from a bunker to win the Women's Open back in 2005.
Almost the same identical spot in the bunker.
Yeah, but the pin was a lot different.
Way left.
Yeah. It's not that easy to get close to. To land it very softly.
Some kind of a bug evidently bothering him at this point. Dottie, do you start your routine over or just back in there now?
Start it all over, especially in this sort of situation.
Well, we talked about Birdie Kim. Let's take a look back. The shot heard around the world. See the whole location in a different spot, as Gary mentioned. Front, left, sort of a little chunk and run. And that was Birdie Kim's moment in history. She wins the U.S. Women's Open. This is Today Live.
Go a little left of the hole. That needs to stay. That's not going to stay.
Now, there's a valley right there, a little trough, and it's going to find it, Gary.
Got to play to the right of the hole. Keep the ball up on the proper shelf.
And back over at 13 now. It would appear like Jordan Spieth's going to putt first, Roger?
He is. And kind of that nervous little length, and one you think is kind of a must-make. With Peters inside this yet.
It's a really good one down the hill then, so birdie 3 for Spieth. Back up at 18 now. This will be Ortiz. Could have an issue with the lie here.
Well, it's the primary cut right behind it. He's made a bunch of stabby sort of quick stop practice strokes, and that's what you're asking for.
God, it looked like a perfect situation. Just take a little hybrid club and just kind of nudge the ball forward.
Without a doubt.
Man.
Back to 13 now. This is Peters to have the hole with Spieth. Stay 2 up. So the native of Belgium and the University of Illinois product continues his good play, and he heads to the 14th with a 2-up advantage over a favored Jordan Spieth. Back to 18 now, and Gary, I had to say that was an interesting choice, especially given what the opponent had done there.
Well, exactly. Again, all you need to do is move the ball a foot or so, and it's going to try to ease its way down toward the hole. And leaving it short of the hole would have been fine from where he was, because he would have been on the proper level on that little shelf on the right-hand side of the green.
It would have been almost impossible to leave it short if he just advanced it a foot or two. Now he has drawn a decent lie in the primary rough on the upslope, but still a very stabby, quick sort of practice stroke.
Easy to leave this one short.
Get up.
Yep.
It's going to find the trough as well.
Yep. It's going to come back away from the hole.
Ortiz has been the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year for 3 consecutive years. He will need to draw on some of that. Now in match 30, Paul Misko against Kenny Cook. Got it. What a putt that was. So he goes 1 up in that match. They will head over to the 16th. Now back to the 18th.
Gary, this was a match or a putt I saw in the Schoolcraft match a little bit earlier, and it does not break as much as you think it does, and obviously slow coming up out of that valley.
Adam Stevenson just finished collegiately at East Carolina and helped his team qualify for the NCAA championships for the first time ever in school history. So we say it each and every year, but so much more depth than maybe we used to see 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, no question. Collegiate golf is certainly a lot stronger than it has been in years past. So many youngsters are being recruited from outside the United States. That helps. And then, of course, in this event, to me, Steve, including the top 50 in the world rankings of amateurs to automatically make it to the event certainly helps. We've seen that in the qualifying scores being so much lower the last few years. Go. It's certainly not going to be conceded.
That was a little bit on the conservative side, wouldn't you say, Gary? So he will go ahead and mark that one. Now Ortiz.
Plays for North Texas. You mentioned 3-time conference all performer, 3 times a winner and during his sophomore year, and actually played for the World Amateur Team Championship for Mexico a couple of years ago. So just a testament that 9 different countries represented here in match play this week.
We're seeing more and more collegiate stars coming out of schools that are not necessarily the big favorites that you always see these days.
Well, you sort of saw it with Graham McDowell at UAB, then Dustin Johnson at Coastal Carolina. You know, these players are deeper, better, and with a limited amount of scholarships, they all can't go to the big schools.
How about Augusta State winning back-to-back NCAA championships?
Dottie, what's in this one here?
Well, it's another slow putt with a turn to the left to start. Should straighten at the hole itself.
That one is just a little too firm. Misses on the high side.
You can see it in his face. Just actually giving this one away.
So Adam Stevenson now has a putt for a bogey almost unbelievably and can win the match if this one goes.
Well, this was the hardest hole on the course in the stroke play portion of this championship. Stroke average was almost 4 3/4 strokes, so it's not surprising to see players struggling here.
And that, Gary, was with a reasonably easy hole location. It could have been worse.
Got it. So bogey 5 is good enough. Stevenson advances. It's a wild day in the West, and the gunslinger Jordan Spieth better make sure that thing's loaded.
Welcome back to Denver. I'm here with Adam Stevenson, a one-up victor at the 18th. Maybe a bit of a gift, but still overall a pretty well-played match in your eyes?
It was an okay played match. It was definitely a gift on the last hole. I wasn't expecting him to make double, and it just turned out my way.
You said to me a little bit earlier that your main goal was just to get to match play. No, you did that for the first time in your history of this championship. What's next?
Go as far as I can. The goal right now is to, obviously win once you get to match play. I believe on setting goals that you can achieve and pushing yourself and achieve one goal, go to the next one. The next one's to win. Well, thanks very much for your time. Mark, we're going to go back to you.
Thank you very much, Dottie. This morning we had all kinds of action here. There were 17 players playing for 14 places to get into the round of 64. This was T.J. Mitchell, his second shot. This is the first playoff hole, number 10.
Utilizes the slope in the green to absolute perfection within just a couple of feet of the hole.
There was 1 birdie, 6 pars, 10 bogeys. So 10 players advance to the 11th hole. They will play that 11th hole then for 7 spots. And we're to Espana now, birdie putt. That one goes. He's safely through. Denny McCarthy also had a birdie putt. So those were the 2 birdies there at number 11, and along with 8 pars, that was how those holes were placed. So at the 12th hole, 8 players now for 5 places.
Yeah, this is a 220-yard par 3 over water, green that is wide but not very deep. It is very difficult to get the ball anywhere near the hole.
That was Michael Weaver, tremendous tee shot there. So he would leave himself about 12 feet, little breaker to the left down the hill. What a time to make a 2, he did it. And now Devin Purser, this also for a birdie. He knew this one would get him in to match play, dead center. So Devin Purser, 2 birdies, they advance. Now at the 4th playoff hole, Blaine Woodruff, 4 par putts here. This was the first one, he misses. Evan Bowser though, kind of the same line, a little bit lower on the green, Gary.
Yeah,
he
nice
did not miss.
Teach. No, he did not.
Stephen Fox, sort of a putting contest now to get into match play. Just a right-hand putt, he drains it. So Stephen Fox advances. And finally, Taylor Hancock from below the hole. So these guys have already played a lot of golf just before the matches even started. 64 advance. It took a score of 143, Gary, 2 over par, just to get into the playoff. That's some pretty good golf.
It really is. And Steve, as we mentioned earlier, that is just a great indication of the level of competition now, especially at the collegiate level.
It is, and I think the U.S. Amateur going to the top 50 in the world ranking exempt into this championship strengthen the field.
And this is one of the players that got through this morning, T.J. Mitchell. This is his 4 down, his 3rd shot there at 15. So he is in all kinds of trouble. In fact, the match is over. So Gooch advances with a 5-3 victory. It's the round of 64 at the 112th U.S. Amateur. Welcome back to the U.S. Amateur Championship round of 64, Cherry Hills Country Club. 3rd shot for Thomas Pieters at the long par 4 14th hole.
Yeah, good place to leave it though, below the hole, so a pretty straightforward little pitch.
And nicely judged there. Pieters currently 2 up in the match against Jordan Spieth. And mentioned before about the long 14th. How about the longest host courses in U.S. Amateur Championship history?
Yeah, 4th longest is Cherry Hills. But again, Mark, when you're playing at the elevation they are at over 5,000 feet, you can take off about 10%. So therefore, certainly not going to play nearly as long as those other 3 that are ahead of it.
Out at 14 now, Roger Jordan Spieth with a putt to win the hole.
Yeah, was first to play from the fairway and played a good shot to hole high, a conservative shot, but Pieters then from geez, a shot that didn't play any more than 125 yards from about 2 inches off the green with a perfect lie. Left it, barely got it over the front bunker. Hit a nice pitch, but now you would think he has a very good opportunity to make par, so Jordan Spieth would need to make this putt, I would think, to win the hole. Not necessarily, but a putt that moves to his left anyway, I think. Ties don't do him any good right now.
Not at this stage of the competition. That's what the other guy's hoping for. Keep tying those holes. Break enough. Yes. Wow.
Pikes Peak must be to the right.
Oh.
That took a look, said, wait a minute. And it fell. How about Peter's reaction to this? Watch this. Good putt. So he now is just one up. And while we have a minute, stay connected with Golf Channel's mobile app with access to scores, blogs, videos, and the latest news on the go. Now available for your iPhone, Android, and tabloid. Golf Channel's mobile app. And now at the 18th hole, this is match 28. Bryson DeChambeau and Andrew Presley. That is DeChambeau. Dottie is there.
And DeChambeau will be first to putt. He played a wonderful shot from the primary rough right side. His opponent just about 2 feet inside him on the identical line. In fact, had to move his coin.
DeChambeau going to be a freshman at SMU in a couple weeks' time. Josh Gregory, the new head coach, in his second year now at his alma mater after leading Augusta State to back-to-back national championships, and he's really creating a bit of a buzz around that program and has suffered in recent years, and he's quickly trying to reestablish itself.
And of course, the winner of this championship last year, Kelly Craft, coming from SMU.
And they're talking about maybe even building their own facility down there now, I've heard, Steve, like a really good one.
There is a big commitment being invested into the golf program, and I think that's a big reason why Josh Gregory was so intrigued to go back home.
All right, let's see if he can hit this putt firmly enough.
That will be through that valley that we spoke of. You can actually see it greener where the moisture is collected there.
Yeah, the green's a little off color as you look at it on your screen, but they putt extremely well. The summer here has been very hot, and the POA grass doesn't like hot weather.
This was just a moment ago over at 13, Peter Williamson, who was 3 down at this point, had this putt for birdie, which he holed. And now Williams, who thought he might have a putt to win the hole, has a putt to have the hole.
Yeah, couldn't ask for a better place to putt from. Virtually straight up the hill. Not a particularly good stroke, so.
Mr. Williams 4, Mr. Williamson 3, Mr. Williams
number 1 ranked amateur in the world. Sees his lead shrink.
Over to the 15th tee now, and Roger Jordan Spieth with the honor by virtue of winning that last hole.
And this par 3 measuring 183, plays downhill ever so slightly. Hole cut on the right side of the green. Should play about 170 yards or so in length.
Ideally, you'd like to hit a little left to right shot into this green that's angled from players left to right.
Boy, he played the shot you described, Gary. A beautiful little cut. That green's pretty firm.
Yes,
though.
it is.
Back up to 18 now. This is a putt of Presley.
And that was to win the match, both now with a little bit of work left, Mark.
I would think Presley's ball below the hole's in a better position. Back at 15 now, Peters.
Nice looking swing there, but he's hung it a little
maybe
right.
Cutting a little too much.
Uh-oh. Oh, just carries the bunker, and now it's fine. Wow.
Back at 18. They are measuring to actually see who will be putting first here, who's away. And Jeff Hall from the United States Golf Association, you're with us up here in the booth. Tell us how important it is in this situation to make sure you know who is away.
Well, the order of play is critical in match play because there's a lot of strategy involved. You know, a situation like this, first in the hole, could make a big difference on the other individual's psyche. So order of play is prime importance.
And so that putt is nicely holed for par there for DeChambeau. And Andrew Presley with a putt now to have the hole and send it to extra holes. It's to extend the match.
Junior from LSU, a second team All SEC, won the Louisiana Classic Collegiate event. So again, we just keep saying it and saying it. So many great players, and this wasn't the case 10, 15, 20 years ago, Gary.
He was saying that one of the biggest influences on his golf career was John Peterson, who played at LSU, and of course who we saw make the hole-in-one at this year's U.S. Open and had such a great finish. I guess they have become very good friends, and credits John with really helping his game to get better.
Got it. So they will head over for extra holes there. DeChambeau and Presley all square after 18. It's the 112th U.S. Amateur round of 64 from Cherry Hills. Been a very interesting Wednesday here, the round of 64 at Cherry Hills. There you can see Bobby Wyatt, the #1 seed, is 2 up through 7 holes in his match against Taylor Hancock.
You'll have a rematch of Justin Thomas and Max Homa tomorrow in the round of 32. They play each other in the semifinals of the NCAA championships.
There you see Duncan with that almost unbelievable win there at the 18th hole to beat Reach and advance to the round of 32. Monroe beat the local favorite Michael Schoolcraft here in 19 holes. That went to extra holes. Stevenson with that 1-up win also over Ortiz. Oldest man in the field there, Hansel. Presley also an extra hole victory over DeChambeau. Up at 18 now, this is the predicament for Thomas Pieters, Roger.
Well, not the greatest of lies, although not horrible. Ball above his feet, 219 to get to the front edge, 231 to the hole. If he gets us on the green, it will be a great shot.
Easy to miss this ball left, and left is not bad because
he's hitting a pretty good shot.
Gave the club a little twirl. How about
that? It is.
Stay on.
Well, it's going to just creep to the very edge and just off. But still, if you're going to miss, left is a lot better than right with this hole location on the right.
All will depend on the lie there and whether or not the primary rough is an issue. I mentioned the twirl. Here it is. Only does it after a good shot. There it is. That means he likes it. Now Jordan Spieth.
And he'll have a relatively level lie, 190 left to the hole.
So at this point, Roger, being 1 down, would he be thinking, I got to make a 3?
I would think that if I were him. He's got the shot shape for it. He plays everything mostly a little left to right, and that would be the preferred shot shape here, Gary.
Certainly would, Roger. That would get the ball to land as softly as you possibly can. It's not easy to do with this shot being so much uphill. The ball comes in at a flatter trajectory than it normally would if the green were lower.
Sit down.
Well, he's hit this ball left of the hole at the center of the green.
Looking for it to sit down. That will remain on the putting surface, but it will not be the easiest of putts. Certainly, if he has to hole it, it would appear like he may well be not away, that Pieters will have to chip first. Now, first extra hole, Paul Misko. This was just earlier, his 3rd shot at the par 4. Good distance there. Kenny Cook, you remember, was in the hazard after his tee shot, but got the ball on the green. This now to have the hole. Did it. What a 4 for Kenny Cook. Dottie Pepper has joined this group live at the second tee.
And a layup. Both players actually have pulled irons out very quickly. Avoid the bunker on the left at 280.
Yeah, and
Trees right.
down the right.
And right hand off the club immediately.
Well, it got a decent bounce. The trees still will be a factor, but it's going to be an okay lie.
That's going to get all the way back to the fairway, Dottie. That is a really good bounce.
Certainly one of the tighter driving holes here at Cherry Hills. As Dottie mentioned, a series of bunkers down the left. Trees that are just a few yards off the fairway on the right. And in fact, the trees overhang the fairway. And that will be what will influence Cook's shot.
Now Misko trying to turn one over just a little bit.
And he does. That'll be in very good shape.
So he finds the fairway as well, and certainly wouldn't have the tree trouble his opponent does. Well, like Golf Channel on Facebook. Join the conversation on golf's hottest news every day and get access to exclusive content. No one covers golf on Facebook like Golf Channel. Okay, the drama at 18 continues, and it would appear that Peters is away, Roger?
He is, and has a decent lie. Now he'll be pitching from just past hole high, so there's going to have some slope from left to right, and certainly against him. In my experience from playing here, Gary, this is a hard one to get to the hole.
Yeah, I would agree. That last part is up the hill a little bit, and you're right. Easy to leave this 8 or 10 feet short.
Well, he looks it over. This is at 17. Patrick Newcomb, 2 putts to win the match. He will need both putts, but he will take out the University of Tennessee star Richard Lamb. So Patrick Newcomb advances to the round of 32. Good victory for him. Back to the 18th green. It's now Peters' third shot.
Ideally, I would think you'd want to try to hit the shot with about a 9-iron, maybe even an 8-iron, just something you can get on the ground quickly. Get the ball rolling.
Well, it looks to me he has more loft than that. I think he's got a pitching wedge here. Lie itself was good, and he pitched across one little knob, and now it's going to fight up that hill. That's pretty well done, but that's a nasty putt he's left.
Downhill, left to right slider.
He is one up, cannot lose the match on this hole. But he certainly doesn't want to go to extra holes with Jordan Spieth. But Jordan himself has some issues with a long putt, Roger.
He does, and one with a considerable amount of left to right break in it, facing some of the same things that Peters did. That last, there's a little bit of a ledge that the hole sits on the right side of the green, so about 15, 18 feet short of the hole. The ball takes one last climb up the hill, and then it'll break right pretty good, and as it's breaking right, start heading downhill. Tough putt to get the speed right.
Steve, you were saying that in the college ranks that Jordan Spieth known as a really good putter.
Oh, without a doubt. When I asked the coaches around the country what do they like most about Jordan's game, and without hesitation, one of the best putters they've ever seen. So to see him miss the short ones at 11 and 17, quite surprising. And unless something special happens here, it will cost him a chance to move on in this championship.
Well, Gary, with 6 feet left for his opponent for par, does Jordan stand here now and say, I have to make this one still?
Well, I think you have to have that in mind. But, I mean, realistically, the chances of this putt going in are small. I mean, they really are. So I think at this point you have to kind of say, all right, let me make a 4. Let me put the pressure squarely on him to make this last putt. And if he makes it, then, I can accept that.
Again, for those of you who haven't been with us, Jordan Spieth has never led in this match. This is for a birdie. This would extend the match. His opponent, that man right there, Thomas Peters, still has about 6 or 7 feet from above the hole for his par.
Let's see if he can keep his head steady here. Certainly was unable to do it on the last hole. It's carrying a lot of speed. Came up and out of that one a little bit earlier than I would like to have seen as well.
Over at 16 now, Devin Mirchin has 2 putts to win his match against Drew Evans. Mirchin, the 8th seed. Looking over at his opponent. Off comes the hat. That means it's conceded, and he advances. So the U.S. Amateur is over for Drew Evans. Not for Kenny Cook yet, though. There he is at the second.
Well, that's from 176 yards. The trees were, in fact, a big part of his decision to play that shot.
Tried to play a little low shot, Dottie, and ricocheted off the front lip of that bunker and appears to have stayed in the bunker. Back up to 18. Business up here still, though, for Jordan Spieth, who is still away after his first putt. This for a par now. And this one has to go in.
Well, this putt probably move a little bit to his left, but as you say, anything other than holding it will not work.
Not to be. Looked good for a minute.
Yeah, just not quite firm enough.
Interesting to see what he does now. It would appear he is going to have Thomas Pieters putt. Pieters with 2 putts now to win the match.
Well, how many of you have lagged from about 6 feet, Gary?
In match play, it happens every now and then, doesn't it, Raj? And don't be shy about doing it.
That's right. The last thing I want is a topside lip out. That ought to do it.
That'll do it.
That does it. So there are a lot of people who will call it an upset. I'm not sure Thomas Pieters would. He is the NCAA champion. The native of Belgium takes out Jordan Spieth and advances to the round of 32. This was a moment ago at the second hole. Paul Misko, his second shot. His opponent, Kenny Cook, in the front greenside bunker in 2.
Really like this golf swing, Mark. Very well balanced and a bit unlucky there that the ball hits so firmly, and that goes right up against the primary cut of rough.
Let's go down to Roger.
Thomas, congratulations on your victory. Let me see. No practice round, Jordan. If I can get you to join us as well, thank you. No practice rounds. Have to birdie the last 3 holes to get to match play. Then you draw Jordan in this opening round match, but a very well played match. You got to be exhausted, don't you?
I am, yeah. I've had like an average of 3 hours of sleep a night, so it's got to get used to it. But it was a great match. Jordan played great. I had a lot of fun out there. It's a great match.
Well, Jordan, as people refer to you and about your golf game, they always say you're one of the best putters they've ever seen, but it seemed as though your putter let you down a little bit today. Agreed?
Yeah, it's been a struggle this summer. I've been struggling. Those short putts, just like last hole, and then, distance control have been pretty off, and I worked really hard the last couple of weeks for moments like that, and it's kind of a shame I didn't pull it off there.
Well, sorry for you. Congratulations. We'll see you later. Okay, down to number 2, please.
Good job with the traffic there, Roger. Kenny Cook, third shot at the par 4. Second match of the day to go, 20 holes.
And a chance to really put some pressure on his opponent here. This is a very straightforward bunker shot. Didn't make a very big swing there, did he? The backswing very short for that length of shot. But he does leave it below the hole.
Over at 17, Goss had 2 putts to win the match, but it was conceded. So Oliver Goss takes out Eli Cole, and he advances. Now back at the second, Paul Misko, his third shot.
Well, he's taken a long, hard look at this and a little bit of indecision, I would say. This is the second club he's chosen, the one with more loft.
This one right up against the primary cut again,
It's
Dottie?
very much like the shot that Ortiz had earlier, but certainly not as steep. It still only needs to just pop this ball into the green with a little topspin.
Yeah, this bluegrass rough is very sticky. Very difficult to control how it's going to come out.
Well, I would call that okay. 2 holes in a row, though. Paul Misko hasn't seemed, Dottie, really to have what his opponent's done dictate what he does.